Welcome to the STR Home Financing Podcast, where we believe a legacy is something you build, not just something you leave behind. And now, here's your host, Jeff Chisum.
Hey, this is Jeff Chisum with the STR Home Financing Podcast. Hope you are doing well. Delayed this episode just a bit to give people a little bit of time to get the new year under their belt, get started. And so wanted to just kind of reference here at the beginning, National Quitters Day. So apparently that is January the 10th, given up on their New Year's resolutions. We stopped doing kind of these New Year's resolutions a long time ago, my wife and I, and we started doing goals. So in December, we would start putting kind of our goals together that we wanted to have in place by the beginning of the new year. And we didn't make yearly goals. We did at the beginning, but then we just kind of found that things changed, whether it was from circumstances or new directions, or we quit, or we lost sight of them because they were set so far in the future that we changed to making quarterly goals. So everything that we talked about at the beginning of the year are things that we want to accomplish by the end of March. So it makes it more attainable. We're talking about them on a weekly basis. Maybe we need to change directions when we get to March on different things, or we need to make adjustments. We're doing it quarterly versus waiting until the end of the year and going, we failed at that. So it's worked for us. So what I wanted to challenge you with is, have you quit? Have you lost sight of what you want to do in 2025? So more specifically, to drill down, did you put on your 2025 resolutions, goals, whatever you call them, to buy that vacation home, that lake house, that cabin, that place by the ocean that you want to rent out on a short-term basis? Maybe you've been talking about it for a while. That's pretty common that I visit with clients, have an initial consultation call, and they tell me, Jeff, we've been thinking about doing this for 5 years, and we finally decided that we're going to take action. So I just want to kind of give you the podcast episode is, where do you stand in 2025? And really what I want to propose is, how do we take steps forward where we're not just standing stagnant and we're doing something different? We're doing something about what we've been talking about. We've become action takers in 2025. So I'm a little biased as far as the process and where you should begin. Of course, you want to educate yourself. You want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that know more than you do. So seeking out information about buying a short-term rental, so different markets, how to set up a short-term rental, how to run a short-term rental, just all the details that go along, which I almost hate to mention that. People will get paralyzed by what goes into it. So what I'm proposing today is, as a first step, just finding out where you stand from an approval standpoint, because that's the other common thing that I hear from clients on the consultation calls that I do is, and we actually have a questionnaire. If you go to my website, strhomefinancing.com, there's a questionnaire that you walk through, and it asks for price point. And a lot of times we'll get, it just depends on what you tell me. So basically, I'm not exactly sure, and that's why I'm here. I need you to guide me through the process. So our pre-approval process has the goal that on the other side of it, you would be in a position to be able to take action. So it's going to verify things like, what is my max purchase price, or validate that you do qualify for the purchase price that you're looking to target. Along with that is going to be the estimated payments, estimated cash to close, just all the resources that you're going to need to be prepared with the cash necessary. So it starts with filling out an application. Really, it starts with scheduling a call with me, because I just want to hear about your hopes, dreams, and desires. I want to hear about what you're looking to do. On my website, I have some videos that lay out the products that we use in this space, the 10% down loan, the DSCR loan, bank statement loans that a lot of self-employed people will use. We also have a 10% down option there. Then it talks about the pre-approval process. So filling out the application, submitting your documents, having a review call. So it really lays out that entire process, because the last thing that I want is someone not knowing what the next step is, feeling like they're left in the dark. Like I said, that first step is having a consultation call with me and then filling out the application. Now, one thing that stops a lot of people from going through that process and wanting to time it out perfectly is the credit pull. They don't want a hard inquiry. They don't want the potential risk that their score might be dinged because of a hard inquiry. So that is the other nice thing about my pre-approval process, is that we only have to do a soft pull for the pre-approval. No ding on your score, no inquiry. So that eliminates that obstacle. And we were able to implement that about March of last year. And it was a game changer for a lot of people, because what we were running into was I'd have the consultation call, send people the application link, and they would tell me, we're going to wait until we find a property. That's going to be too late, because you don't want to rush that process. It's not push button, get mortgage. That's where people get in trouble. That's where you don't get the right information and you end up making a mistake. So you want to give yourself plenty of time to go through that pre-approval process. And so that removing that obstacle of the hard credit inquiry has done that for a lot of people. So where do you stand? And my encouragement is, don't stand. Take action. Be an action taker. Take steps towards your goals. And it starts with the first one. And like I said, my opinion is that first step to be the pre-approval, getting the pre-approval in place. So yeah, I'd love to have a visit, love to visit with people about their goals, their hopes, dreams, and desires to own a short-term rental vacation property lifestyle asset. So go to my website, strhomefinancing.com. There's a link to schedule a call, but let's be action takers. Until next time.
Jeff Chisum is a registered mortgage loan officer, NMLS 673623 with CMG Home Loans, NMLS ID 1820. CMG Home Loans is an equal housing lender. All programs, products, and terms discussed on this show are subject to change without notice.